Now, when we're talking about the opening and kind of directing the flow of that introduction, I want to talk to you about several different specific strategies you can use for merchant services. The first one is that, and there's really three of them, by the way. The first one is where you are walking into the business off the street cold turkey. You're just walking into the business, okay? A couple things that you can do with that. First of all, you can use the instant quote tool in two different ways with this. So what the instant quote tool is, let me take just like 30 seconds to explain. So the way that things have worked in the past in the merchant services industry is that you walk in, you talk to the merchant, you get a statement from them. So you have to ask them for a credit card processing statement, maybe 2 or 3 of them sometimes. You get that, you send it into the statement analysis department. They analyze the statement, they send back a PDF or a Excel spreadsheet, which you then go back into the merchant location and present to them. Some of you actually will fax a statement in and somebody will fax it back, that kind of thing. So that's how it works. That's how it has been working in the past, but it's not going to work that way in 3 years because of innovators like my company that has instantquotetool.com and others where you don't even have to ask for the statement because we have a huge database with over 7,000 records that, that database has all kinds of different businesses in it. And so if you're in a pizza shop, for instance, instead of you having to get the statement, send it in the statement analysis, all you really have to do with this one is get their total volume, the fact that it's a pizza shop, find out if they do American Express, PIN debit, if you can get their total fees, put their total fees in there, and then our algorithm is going to reach out to the database and it's going to find like all these other pizza shops and it's going to pull all their information in to recreate the interchange table. And then you have programs that are preloaded from all the processors you sell for. And so then it's going to automatically, instantly allow you to quote the merchant. And we have a beautiful PDF proposal, 2 different ones. You can do a summary view, which shows them the savings, just the basic numbers of savings so that they don't go back and show their current company and match rates. And then you have the detail one that has everything, all of your line items, all of your rates and fees and everything on there. And then you can show them that. So what it does for you in the opening is one of 3 things. If you're walking in off the street, you can use it 2 different ways. You can open with it. You wouldn't believe, I've been talking to so many salespeople, I'm like amazed by this, that they're just using the instant quote tool as their opening. Like that's what they're talking about. They're not talking about the processor. They're talking about, I have the instant quote tool. And so they walk in and say, I'm like, hi, my name is, James Shepard. I have an instant quote tool. And what it does for you is it allows you, we have a big database and we have a new algorithm that was created. It's a technology solution from our industry, third-party verified and all that. And what I can do for you is right now, I have several processors loaded in here and I can find a proposal for you and show you how much money I could save you right now without even looking at your statement. I just need to ask you a couple of quick questions. Do you have 30 seconds? And they're literally just using that opening. And so again, you could wordsmith it. I personally haven't done that one. So I always give that disclaimer if I haven't done it. But I mean, literally in the last couple of days, I talked to 4 salespeople that have used it. One of them closed 4 deals in the last week using the instant quote tool with that methodology. And so try it. Maybe it'll work for you. You just literally talk to them. So in the opening, when you're the introduction and you're like sharing back and forth and stuff, that's what you share about. When you talk about yourself and your business and you introduce yourself, you talk about the instant quote tool as this thing that you use. And apparently it works very, very well. One of the other things you can use with that people are telling me works is get another business and like black out their name or get their information to share it if they'll give it to you. Because again, it's not a side-by-side comparison. So you're not really sharing their current fees other than their total fees, but you are sharing their total revenue. And some of them might not like that. But you can always black out the name, but get a detailed proposal from the instant quote tool and show that to them and say, here's a business. And I might have 3 or 4 different ones. Here's a similar business to yours. And this is what I can generate for you in 1 minute. And literally it takes a minute. So people like that. They really do. And they're apparently very interested in it and want to move forward. Again, I haven't tried that methodology, but talked to 4 salespeople already that are successfully using that strategy when they walk in. The other strategy that's being used more by salespeople because it's a new thing, right, is they're going in and doing the same pitch they've always done, going through the motions. But what happens, as many of you know, even if you're a really good sales rep, today I talked to a sales rep on the phone I've met him, I've seen him, talk to him, very good sales professional in this industry. Out of 10 contacts, he ends up getting about 4 statements. And he said the other 6, it's not that they're telling him no, most of them are saying, I don't have a statement, it's at my accountant's, it's an e-statement, right, whatever. So what he's doing it with the instant quote tool is we're going to take that and say, those 4 people, you do the same thing you've always done. You don't change anything. But the other 6 that you're losing because they don't have the statement, that's where you bring up the instant quote tool. and you say, hey, you know what? I know you don't have a statement. That's okay. Look at this PDF proposal that I can generate for you in a couple minutes by asking you a few questions. That'll help both of us to make sure we're not wasting our time, because if I show you the proposal and the savings don't look significant to you, then I'm not going to continue and I'm not going to try to get your statement, right? But at least this way you'll have an idea of what I can save you right off the bat. And people, I'm telling you, that I have tried and they love that. That really, really works well, doing your normal approach, but just falling back on the instant quote tool. Then really the third one you can use in this case is, once you do get the statement, what you do is you use it for statement analysis instead of sending it off to statement analysis, waiting to get it back for 2 or 3 days, all that rigmarole and nonsense. At least this way you can do the analysis. So even if they give you the statement, if you feel like they have time now, just pull out your phone and look at the statement, put the numbers in, you're done. Give them a proposal and close the deal right there on the spot. And again, the guy I was talking about that closed the 4 deals, I think he said at least 3 of the 4, if not all of them, were closed on the spot, like that day, because of the instant quote tool. He didn't have to wait for a statement analysis. So that's one way that you can utilize it as well, is if you get the statement, do the analysis right there on the spot and then close the deal, or go home and do it and then bring them back the PDF proposal. So there's one way you can use it for the opening, the introduction. The second way you can use it is the more common in our industry is that people call to schedule an appointment, right? So you're calling the merchant, you're coming up with some kind of line about how you want to come out there and introduce yourself, et cetera, okay? Now, here's what a lot of people are using that's working really, really well for phone sales. What they're doing with phone sales is they are calling the person and saying, hey, my name is James Shepard and I'm a local business owner. Here's what I'd like to do. I have this new instant quote tool and it's for merchant services. And what it allows me to do is create a PDF proposal for based on your business type. We have an algorithm that runs off a big database of other merchants. And I can kind of show you what our pricing would be without even seeing your statement. And I was just wondering if I could come by and just drop off that. It's a really beautiful PDF proposal. I'm sure you wouldn't mind that. Can I just come by and drop that off for you tomorrow sometime? And what they're finding is that almost everybody says, sure, why not, right? And again, they make it a little more in depth, explaining the tool, the algorithm, the database, and how it all works. And so they'll do that. And then when the person says yes, they'll say, okay, great. Well, the great thing about it, like I said, I don't even need to see your statement. All I need to know is a couple things real quick. What's your total volume right now? Do you know roughly how much volume you're doing? And they ask them that question. Then they'll ask them about their American Express and PIN debit. And they'll say, now, if you don't know the answer to this, that's fine. But just out of curiosity, so I could put the savings on there, do you have a general idea of how much you paid in total fees last month to process that $18,000 or whatever it was? And they'll put the total of that on there. And then that'll instantly be able to create the PDF. And then what they'll do is they'll actually print that and they'll bring it with them to the business and they'll walk in and they're starting off by giving them a proposal. I mean, think about that. We're talking about the information sharing and directing the information path. That's huge. You just basically put it all out there. Here you go. Ruth, here's all my rates and fees right here. Here's what I can save you. So that it creates an enormous amount of trust with the prospect, and you don't even have to worry about them getting the statement or whatever. Now, this is the other really interesting thing about it, though, and I'll talk more about it in the next video, is that a lot of times you'll get the statement because you're using the tool. It's like the best way to get the statement is to not ask for it, because people want to see if their proposal is correct. And so that's working really, really well. The last one I want to tell you about in this video, the last kind of strategy, is when you're selling over the phone exclusively. And for this, it's really pretty simple. You do the same thing I described for the last one, except that you tell them, I just want to email you a PDF proposal. I don't need anything from you. I don't need your statement. I don't need any of that. I just want to email you a PDF proposal. And when you do that, you can also send along a link with an online application that already has those prices loaded in. We don't have that through our tool yet, the online app. We're getting there. We're working on integrating it now, but you can just send another online app link with that and sell it over the phone. And so it really shortens the sales cycle, because if you're selling over the phone, merchant services, you know that your biggest challenge by far is getting that paperwork done. And so it's like, oh, I got to get the statement. Oh, it takes forever to get the statement. You know what I mean? It's so frustrating trying to get the statement. And that's a huge problem for you. Well, stop asking for it and just use our tool, and you can close the deal right on the spot without having to do any of that. So, and that really has helped them. A lot of the salespeople selling over the phone are using it to just do a one-call close, literally, and it's that simple. So that's been a really big help. So that's kind of the opening, and that's how people are using it. The next video, I'm going to talk more about that presentation kind of information stage and how they're actually using the instant quote tool to get more information that they need to close the deal.